Hey guys, I'm Davis Fosgett, and today on How To, we're going to go over how to make a grungy looking texture effect in Photoshop. The first step is going to be to open up Photoshop and hop into a default document size. Next we're going to find a font, look for something that's decently legible and somewhat large. It helps with enhancing the textures.
I'm personally using Arcavio Black.
Now we're going to convert that text layer to a smart object and slap a Gaussian blur on there. After applying the Gaussian blur, I like to set the radius to around 2 pixels, but you guys can experiment to find out what you like. Next we're going to apply a ripple effect. To get there, we're going to go to Filter, Distort, and then Ripple. I personally like to set it to medium.
Let's add a threshold effect to our text layer. This will distort the text and make it look like it's bleeding or melting together. You can change this by increasing or decreasing the threshold setting.
Now let's create another default file so we can put in those textures. This new file is going to be for our displacement maps.
You can find textures online at places like Unsplash or Pexels and looking through their libraries. But if you find textures online, you won't get that one-of-a-kind look that you would get from scanning in your own textures.
Once you found something you like, save it as a Photoshop file. Now we can hop back into that original text file. And then let's select our text layer. We're going to go to Filter, Distort, Displace. And then we're going to find our file that we just saved. This is going to be our displacement map.
Now select the text layer and threshold and group them together by pressing Ctrl-G.
As you can see, the text is starting to take shape. The grunge is coming through and that texture is starting to show.
Now you can create a solid color layer and pick any color that you want, but I'm going to stick with black. Then we can go to the Select menu, click on Color Range, and then we can select the blacks. Now we can click on our solid color mask and press Ctrl-I. After that is in your solid color mask, deselect it by pressing Ctrl-D, and then click the mask again and press Ctrl-I to invert it.
And then, let's find a textured background. We're going to pop that below our text layer.
Once you like the placement of the texture, let's invert its color by pressing Ctrl-I and make your text white. Make a duplicated layer and let's put this new layer above our text and create a clipping mask by right-clicking the new layer and selecting Clipping Mask. Depending on your background, the blending mode will be different, but play around with different modes to see what works best for you. For now, I'm going to use Subtract. This is just one way to achieve the grungy looking effect, but the best way to learn Photoshop is to just hop in and experiment.
Thanks for following along on this week's How To.